Joel Stein, you want to make more money in 2013?
I can't make less.
eVoice, bro. You got to get with eVoice. Because, listen, when your customers call, you'll have your own toll-free number, professional greeting, dial by name directory, and more. You're going to sound like a Fortune 500 CEO and blow away your competitors. Let's say someone has a hot tip for you, Joel Stein.
Right.
You're writing for Time Magazine.
I have to give them my phone number.
You got to give them your phone number.
Sure.
What if you're not at the office? What if you're at the beach, at the bar? It doesn't matter. eVoice lets you give out one number that'll ring wherever you are, and you sound like you're at the office. You got to go to eVoice.com. Use the promo code J. eVoice even takes all your voicemails, transcribes them, and sends them to you instantly as a text or an email.
What?
Joel Stein,
That's
you can
magic.
check voicemails before the meeting ends and not look rude. It is magic.
How do they do that?
Finally, somebody has succinctly summed up eVoice. That's magic. eVoice is only $10 a month, but right now, listeners to my podcast can try eVoice free. For 6 months. I'll tell you something. You got to really believe in a product to give it out free for 6 months.
That's ballsy.
6-month free trial. Support Fake Mustache Studio. Stop what you're doing, you guys. Hit pause right now. Set up your eVoice free trial. I'll be here with Joel Stein, writer for Time Magazine, who covered Joe Biden and is going to tell you all about Sarah Palin and what to do with Israel. But first, go to fakemoustachestudios.com and click the eVoice banner. Go to eVoice.com, promo code J. eVoice.com, promo code J. Or go to jmoore.com, click the eVoice banner right now as well. eVoice, it's magic.
That's their slogan now.
It's magic.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Joel Stein, Time Magazine, but more importantly, I think it's neat that you were a writer for Martha Stewart Living. That's really how you cut your teeth in the journalism world, isn't it, Joel
That
Stein?
was my first job out of college.
NYU?
Stanford. So I was driving.
Oh,
yeah.
excuse me.
I'm glad we brought that up in 10 seconds in. It usually takes me 12, 13 seconds to bring up Stanford.
Since I went to Stanford.
Yeah. I like the voice you
think
did for
Tiger
that.
Woods says that on the tee? When he's like, do you want to go first? You're away. He goes, you know what? I went to Stanford. When do you hit?
I bet he doesn't even remember if he went to Stanford at this point.
To me now, he just looks like a Chappelle sketch.
He always was, right? He was the one in the Chappelle. You're talking about the Chappelle sketch where they draft by race?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now he's got this weird stippled-on goatee. It looks like Chuck Norris on that exercise machine goatee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this looks like Chappelle doing Tiger Woods. Anyway, so...
Are you a big Martha Stewart fan?
Yeah, I do like Martha Stewart.
Do you find her attractive?
I do coldly, like how every man does.
Totally,
but I know
right?
a man who had her back when she wasn't so cold. So,
I bet she was always the ice lady.
when you do her show now, there's pictures of Martha Stewart all over the walls from when she was a young fashion model. And I always thought it was super interesting. Like, what better way to let your guests know? I haven't always been trimming tulips, you idiots. Look how hot I was on
I thought she was hot.
Paris Vogue.
Well, she was never on the cover of Paris Vogue, was she?
No, I just used it for a reference. But if you want to call me out over it, that's
no,
cool.
I didn't mean it like that. I was at a party at her house at the Hamptons when I worked for her because the whole staff was there. And I learned to inline skate because I was skating behind her because I wanted a better view of her ass.
Nice.
True story.
And how long ago was that?
That was 94. Yeah.
That's the best, bro.
But the reason I applied for that job is I was sitting at a bookstore writing down the names of all the magazines. I didn't know how to apply for jobs, so I was just writing down addresses from copying down from magazines. And I decided to also include Martha Stewart because the editor there had been at Newsweek when I interned there, and I thought she was kind of a hot ice princess. So I just threw it in the mix. And then this was before cell phones. I'm driving across country with my high school friend Mike, and I checked in with my dad, and he's like, "You have an interview. I set it up for you, Martha Stewart." And so I went over there. It was a horrifying day. It was in Manhattan. I didn't know what I was doing.
So you went from Jersey to Manhattan?
Yeah, it was like I went back to my parents' house where my parents had gotten divorced. My house was kind of falling apart.
You grew up in Edison.
I grew up in Edison.
Okay.
You grew up in a much nicer part of Jersey.
Verona's nice, yeah.
Yeah. You
Much more Italian.
more Italian, but nicer too, I think.
Less industrialized, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, less industrial parks.
You spoke to a room of about 20, 30 people. You had to get tickets for this when my sister was graduating Rutgers, and she said you were hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
My father went to Rutgers. My sister went to Rutgers. So Edison, New Brunswick, and even all the way down to Princeton if I feel like slumming it.
Yeah.
I'll go down I-9. So what I like most so far, Stein, is this podcast. We talk a lot about with and about comics and the art of comedy. And I don't know if it's an art, but it always comes back to genetics, like Gladwell's Outliers.
Right.
And just people willing to grab a shovel and start digging until they see some daylight after a lot of hard work. You are a guy pre-cell phone. You were writing for jobs the way in the library. I don't know if anybody else did this listening. Did you do this in like home ec or whenever, any class that you weren't really into or like study hall? You get the almanac or the atlas, and they have the list, the addresses of all the networks and of all the major league teams.
It's the same thing.
And you would write all of them for autographs. And I remember I got Mike Tomczak's autograph. I think he was like a backup quarterback for the Bears. And I got Bob Greasy's autograph. Dear JJ, be a good sport, Bob Greasy. So those are the and like assistant coaches, they sent me like 50 autographs of like special teams coaches and stuff.
What do you do with those?
I put them on my shelf. They were treasures,
sure.
man.
Yeah.
That was big stuff.
I got a big...
But that's how you went about getting job. You actually sat down, pencil to paper.
I know what else to do.
Well, that's what I like. But it was in your genetics to actually go, I don't know what else to do.
It was panic time.
I'm going to work. I'm going to work at getting work.
Yeah.
People don't have that anymore, bro.
I think they do, right?
They just tweet their dates out and hope someone shows up.
That works.
What do you want me to say? I'm at the Melrose Improv Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. Come on.
8, you say?
8, yeah.
All right, good. Just
swing by.
Yeah, no, that's...
What do you want me to say? I'm at the Comedy Works, and I can't pull it up that fast. In Denver in May. Just go to jimmer.com for my dates. You were from Edison. You've written for Martha Stewart. You were for LA Times.
I didn't really
you were
write for Martha, but yeah.
What did you do at Martha?
I mean,
stare at her ass.
Well, that was really most of the qualification. No, I was hired as the writer for her TV show, but I didn't. She took me to this lunch, and I was straight out of college, and she told me she wanted her show to be like Letterman, and he was my hero, so I was so excited. And then I started writing what in my mind was a Letterman version of a Martha Stewart show at 21 years old, and I'm sure I was really far off, and that's not what she wanted anyway. So I wound up just being like a fact checker for her, and then like translating recipes to the magazine. It was a bad year. It was a dark year.
What was your credit in the TV show when it came on screen at a billionth of a second? At the corner of the screen as they're running the opening credits to like Mama's
I
Family.
I still have them on VH1.
Yeah.
No, back then they really ran the credits.
Yeah.
Right?
Now it's
no
all like
Mama's
over in the
Family.
corner.
Yeah. Maybe I was the writer.
That's what I'm saying. So you're in the books, man. You're a made man.
I haven't thought about this.
You've written for Time Magazine. You're kind of hot stuff, bro.
Martha Stewart and Time Magazine.
Not only have you written for LA Times, not only have you written for all these things, but you've written things that are provocative, thought-provoking. You write funny things. I liked your thing about should I get my son circumcised.
Oh,
I had a
thanks.
chapter in my book about the exact same thing.
It's a big decision, right?
It shouldn't be.
Why not?
You must circumcise your child.
But the rest of the world does not do this.
We're not the rest of the world. We're the leaders. We're the tip of the spear, bro. The rest of the world shits outside, too. Should we be following the rest of the world and shitting outside?
No,
should we all use our hands to eat out of a common bowl at the center of the table like the rest of the world?
It's us, the Jews, and the Muslims. That's it. The rest of
That's not bad company, dude.
I don't know.
Who did we leave out?
All of Europe.
Yeah, what are they doing?
They're probably having better sex with their full intact penises, right?
I just had sex to the woman you wrote an autograph.
You did not.
I did. I had a form of it.
What? What's
I don't want to get too graphic. It wasn't graphic. It was like I don't really feel that well. Can we maybe do a stripped down version of this?
Which of you didn't feel that well?
My wife.
So, okay, I've done the math. You didn't feel that well. Stripped down version.
I was blown.
Dry hump. I was so close. So close. That explains my life. Yeah.
So, for the woman you just wrote an autograph for, I must say, my wife said, Joel Stein, the only guy since Rufus Wainwright that I was too nervous to even come down and meet. Which is weird because the Rufus Wainwright, I forced her to show up because I thought correctly that he would think she was fabulous with the Louboutins and the Hermes businesses and the little odds and ends, dressing like Jane Birkin. And I was right. They hit it off fabulously. And they had sex in front of me. That part I made up.
I have, this is awkward. Stop me, someone. If this
No,
is,
bro, this ain't awkward.
All right. I've had a long, long crush on your wife. So I don't think you're telling me the truth. And I think you made me write this fake autograph to embarrass me. And
I had my phone. I would text her right now.
Yeah. But I do find it weird that, look, I'm just excited that she knows who I am. So I'm not going to think about this further. But if I were to think about this further, it's a little weird that it's me and Rufus Wainwright.
Why is that weird?
Well, because it's simultaneously super exciting for me as a heterosexual male and also very emasculating.
No, it shouldn't be because Rufus is like...
She has a type. It's me and Rufus.
She has a type. It's uber smart, and you both are very handsome guys.
No, that's
and
right.
it's men that do something extraordinary, not
And
with
are
their
a little
hands or
femme.
their fists.
Little femme.
No, you're not femme at all.
Really?
I would tell you if you're a little femme.
Thanks.
You're just a regular. You're a Jersey guy to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going well.
Like Scott Wolf is more femme than you. And
What?
He's from. You're stunned, Angie. How do I dial out on this? And he's from West Orange, for crying out loud.
I didn't know that about Scott Wolf. Really?
Jerry O'Connell's from Manhattan. Not femme at all.
No, that's
not
true.
her type. So maybe there is something to what you're saying.
Really?
Rufus Wainwright's one of those guys that's like, he writes in quadruple entendre, and he plays piano with one hand and makes it look complete. Or I'm going to make sure I get this number right. And makes it look so completely effortless, and it's.
I'm a big fan. Rufus Wainwright. Did Rufus Wainwright tell the story about my grandma B. Arthur?
Oh no, that's California. The song California, where he says, "My mom B. Arthur."
My grandma B. Arthur, because he's sitting at home and watching.
California. I ended. Jenny Mullen was on the podcast. I ended her episode with the song.
She is funny.
California.
Yeah.
I just thought it was cool. I always vibe out the episode. People go, I try to figure out the message between what's happening and what the song is at the end. I'm like, no, bro, I'm just vibing. It's a party. I'm just vibing. I'm a DJ, man.
Do you have a song yet for me?
No.
Oh.
It's me, and Joel doesn't believe. He thinks I'm putting him on because he's had such an enormous crush on you his entire life.
People say things are awkward, but this is actually awkward.
Will you talk to him on the phone for a moment? All right. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. It's my wife, Nicole Avery Cox Mohr. This is riveting radio.
Thank you for having me in your home.
Pit sweats.
Yeah, I'm so jazzed that you're here and really excited that you're on his podcast, but mostly I'm just so struck that you're in my whole living room.
I
This
told
is
him we
weird.
had sex earlier to get that out of the way, my love, in full disclosure.
This is so wrong. This is so wrong.
So right.
I'm going to have to kill you. I don't know how.
I waited for this moment my whole life. I'm in to challenge my man.
I'm too close. I'm too close right now.
We love you, baby girl, but he didn't.
No, not you. No, your husband.
She goes, why do you want to?
You're going to be fine.
Because he wants to wear your skin.
Because I'm so close. There's a door separating me from you. All I need to do is kill Jay Mohr.
Wait, it won't be weird at all. All I watch is the ID channel, so I can totally fucking get away with it.
Really? What's the secret? Like, what do we have to do? We probably shouldn't talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, first of all, we need a landline. This is
Say, first of all, tell her what you asked me about Rufus Wainwright.
So this is good. We'll totally make it look like Andrew did it.
Hey, Angie killed me.
Bad.
Why do you think of your husband? Why do you think of your husband for a little bit and calm down?
I don't know how you know who I am. That's what
Because I married
my God.
you. I gave you a giant 8-carat diamond ring to be my wife forever.
I've seen all your shows. For real. From
All right.
Unhappily Ever After. I've seen
Joel
Mr.
Stein
Floppy
has
behind
20
me.
minutes left,
All right.
the podcast.
All right. Okay. All right. Hold on. I'll give this back. Bye. It was nice almost meeting you.
Love you, baby girl. That's so sweet. You guys are completely in love with each other.
It's weird.
Man-Made, A Quest for Masculinity. We were talking earlier, my friend Sam Sheridan had a book out about doing things like this. Sam's a very manly guy.
Yes.
Harvard. It's fine. It's no Stanford.
No.
He did fighting and stuff. You did 24 hours. This is, I guess it would be a similar book, but coming from more of an everyman.
Yeah. What happened was I found out I was having a boy. And I thought I didn't care what the gender. Thank you. Thank you. Well, he's almost 4 now, but I
God bless.
God bless. Do you do bar mitzvahs? Did you ever do bar mitzvahs? Was there a point?
As a comic?
Yeah.
No,
right.
I wasn't a clean comic till like 4 since I met her.
Right.
Since she said, you shouldn't talk that way on stage. You're too old. You're too old to be talking about the things you're talking about.
And there comes a point when you're not being truthful, where you're kind of still doing stuff that's not really your life anymore, right?
George Carlin said it was so easy to do my old act because there was so little of me in it.
So you're not vulnerable anymore.
Yeah, so now you go up on stage and you tell actual stories, and then when everyone, in my experience,
Right.
and I'm not, this isn't a shameless plug, the Tuesday night, Angie's been to a couple of them, the Tuesday night shows at the Melrose Improv, even if it's full, or I've done it for like 40 people on a weird night, it's so intimate because I'm telling actual things that have happened to me.
Like, what did you tell last week?
Last week they were last time I was there, I was doing stories about, like watching House Hunters. The key, she writes, my wife wrote an hour of stand-up for me. I was asleep on an airplane. She wrote chapters of my book. She wrote every show I've ever been on. She's been uncredited writer. She's a joke savant.
Really?
And with my set, I'll be asleep on an airplane going from place to place to place with a radio show or a sitcom or something, and she'll literally hand me a notebook, and it's full. And I'll go, what's this? She goes, just an hour. I think it should time out to about an hour. And I go, what's this for? She goes, when I was doing Gary on Married, she goes, well, I can't be Gary, and I can't physically go on stage for you, and I can't be the person that writes your entire book. So here's 2 chapters of your book, or here's material. And it's a good way for her, while she's raising a child, to stay in the game.
So she's not acting at all right now?
Not right now. But my next special is going to say written by Nikki Cox.
Really?
I'd be a damn liar if I said anything otherwise.
Has she ever gotten on stage and done stand-up?
No. She likes to dress up as other people. So she wants to look at me, but look at me acting like I'm somebody else.
Right.
So she wrote, she had this great point of the key to a successful marriage. It's not similar likes. You don't have to have things in common. That's like the biggest falsehood moving forward in a union. You have to have similar hates. That really is the key to a long, long marriage. If you hate together uniformly, hate as a block, and hate vociferously to all the assholes that aren't here tonight.
That's so accurate. 90% of your time is spent on that conversation, not on the,
You're
isn't this
driving
nice?
in the car, you see a guy walking down the street in jean shorts, and you're like, you know what, I've been negative all day, I'm not going to say anything. And she goes, look at this fucking asshole. And you go, oh, I love you. I didn't want to say anything. You picked me up.
I think I'm a bad husband. I think I need to work on that, because my wife is, if we have dinner with people, she always goes negative, and I'm a little more positive guy.
Well, it doesn't have to extend. You can categorize it more. Like, stay positive because of your business.
Right.
You don't want to blow a source.
Right.
But when you're watching...
I'm not Woodward.
When you're yet.
Not yet.
But when you're watching TV or something,
right.
And she goes like, what about this show Gigolos? How great is it to just hate these guys? You go like, right, even though, you're watching it with your pants down.
Right. Yeah, she goes straight to, you love that show. You always mention that show. Gigolos.
That's great. He was on the Brace.
I know.
Like, what shows do you both hate? All right, okay, here's a perfect example. And then I want you to do most of the talking.
No.
I was, and I do talk about this on stage, so I don't want people to think, like, he's wasting bits out on us. What the fuck? But you asked.
That's what your audience member sounds like? Is that your average?
Here's an exact impression. JJ, the House Hunters. The fuck? Yeah. Do you have double XL for the t-shirts? And they vomit, and then they vomit cum.
What? Wow, really?
I don't know why.
That's weird, that last part.
Because they're with their wives.
Right.
And their children. And they vomit on their heads.
It's Los Angeles.
Not always. So, like, we have similar hates. Like, and we have nothing in common. We don't like the same shows. I like the Black Crows. She doesn't like the Black Crows. We both hate Counting Crows. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
I'll be downstairs watching a fight, and she'll be upstairs watching House Hunters. She'll come downstairs, and I'm watching this actually happened. I'm watching the fight. There's this kid, Uriah Faber, who I've grown to really like and know. And I'm like, something about this guy. I don't know what it is. And in my mind, a pint of ice cream, Ben & Jerry's, milk and cookies, thank you very much. And then she'll come downstairs to get a drink and go, who's this asshole with the fucking braids? And I go, that's what it is. He has fucking cornrows and he's a white guy. I hate him. Oh, what a jerk. And she goes, nice chin. What's his name? Kirk Douglas. He's got a big cleft.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then but then I went upstairs one time and she was watching House Hunters and there was like a disgusting couple on TV and I go, oh my God, who are these people? She goes, I've watched this twice because they're so disgusting. Will you watch it with me to make sure I'm not crazy? And I'm like, yes, I will. Yes. And I've noticed House Hunters,
International?
all of them.
Okay, there's more than one. I've only seen the international.
The more disgusting the couple, the more they talk about their need for a room for entertaining. Like it's a fat guy wearing a vest and nothing else. His nipples are way too big. The wife looks like Mrs. Roper. She's wearing jewelry that she makes. And they're like, we teach magic during the day. At night, we sell dream catchers online. Anywhere around here so we could be entertaining? Well, you better live in a gated community because they're going to be hopping the fucking walls to get with you two. So that's like something she wrote.
That show is strange. I've only seen it. I was excited to watch it because there's a part of me that's like, I want to move to Spain or France or something. So I wanted to see how doable that is. And I watched an episode.
Not good.
Yeah. It's a weird show.
And they're horrible apartments. Apparently, plumbing is America really has cornered the market on nice structures.
Yes.
And plumbing and having rooms that so your knees don't touch the wall when you take a deuce.
And those people are, they're not looking at the right things in the houses.
These are the people you want to be like by not circumcising your son.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
They don't even know how to build a house. They live in the side of a cave. You have to circumcise your child. Look, I was circumcised. Were you circumcised?
Yeah, I'm a Jew from New Jersey.
Mazel.
Yeah.
Mazel.
Yeah.
I don't want any chazarai about the circumcision.
None. There'll be none. I'm not sure what that means. I know what Mishigash means. I don't know what chazarai means.
I just made it up.
No, that's a word. That's a real one.
Here's the thing. Here's how I shake out on this. People say it's barbaric.
It is.
Sure, for a moment.
Right.
But that child for the rest of his life, no woman's ever going to pull down his pants and go, "Oh."
That's exactly why we did it.
Oh no.
That's what my wife said. She said she dated some guys who were uncircumcised. She thought it was pretty gross, and she didn't want her son reducing his chance of blowjobs.
And this isn't. We're not downing Debbie Downering guys that are not circumcised.
No, good for them.
We're downing your parents that didn't want to spring for the extra $200 to have you circumcised.
I'm downering the culture that did this, and now people like it. It's plastic surgery for your baby. It's weird.
Doesn't it look? What's a penis look like to you? Does it have a fucking turtleneck sweater on it? A little worm sticking out?
To be honest,
Mr. Wiggle, or does it look like a dick with a Roman fighter's helmet on?
All my penis knowledge comes from porn. And
you don't like watching the ones where the guy's not circumcised. It freaks you out.
No.
Just to peel it like a banana.
Once they're hard, they all seem the same, right? No?
Yes, but if they get that 3/4 chub, it goes back into...
My son will not have 3/4 chub.
I didn't mean anything. No disrespect, Joel. No disrespect. No disrespect.
My son will be a full mast.
In porn.
When he was...
Jewish porn.
There's tons of Jews in porn. Half the people in porn are Jews. You got your Joanna Angel, your Ron Jeremy, that James Dean guy who's in that. And that's just
He had an article in like the New Yorker.
Yeah, wasn't that crazy? New York Times Magazine. Wasn't that great?
I want to talk to you about more of your writing because you write. Don't be sorry. This is fun. You write. Not only do you write good articles and you write fun things, but you also write things where no great writer can write without something that gets that huge backlash that catches you by surprise.
And who cares when Nikki Cox likes your writing? It's all worth it, right?
It is worth it.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about your article you wrote. Oh, yeah!
No! This is so exciting!
In the house!
Really nice to meet you.
down.
Oh, I had to. Hi.
This is very exciting.
I told you, dude. My wife just came down and gave you kisses and hugs.
It was crazy.
Now you know for real. And she was red as a brick. She was almost like mortified to meet you.
This is crazy. I mean, yeah.
She always goes for. She doesn't go for looks.
Wow.
She goes for
you
the
didn't need
smarts.
to do that.
I don't know
you
how
need to do that. That was weird.
Huh?
Make yourself feel better, whatever it takes.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
That's how it came out. I was feeling great, and you went straight to she doesn't go for looks.
I can completely understand why that made you feel that way. If I may rephrase it.
No, I don't care at this point.
No, you should because my mouth belies what my heart means many, many times, and I'm being completely serious. She is fascinated, turned on, and thrilled with people that are uber intelligent.
Wow.
And you are handsome.
I'm
not just saying that because you thought she doesn't go for looks. And I realize now it's the story of my life. People go, but you said, why would you say it? I'm like, you don't understand. She likes smart guys. When she went out with Andrew Dice Clay, nobody could figure it out.
She did not, did she?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
Come on, honey. Let's go, Red. Engage. So you write articles with blowback, and I think that's the sign of it. We were just talking about it upstairs. Your article about your hometown being sort of taken over by an Indian community.
Yeah.
And that made perfect sense to me. I understand when somebody wants to beat a drum about blowback. Joel wrote an article. Why don't you explain what the article is?
Yeah, this was not my greatest moment.
But I think you should not have apologized.
Well, you should never apologize. No good comes of apologizing.
Is that just time saying, if you don't apologize, we got to cut you loose? You do it to save your job?
No.
So I think you should have said, up your ass, this is how I feel. Tough shit.
Well, first of all, apologizing never does any good.
No one's like, oh, okay, my bad then.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think I did a poor job in that column. I didn't get across what I thought I was getting across. So I did feel bad. It all started when I was, 8 years ago, I was in Iowa with Joe Biden when he was running for president. And he was going from like little rooms this big full of like 6 old ladies to another room with 6 old ladies. And they kept bringing up immigration, how what was he going to do about immigration? These were Democrats in Iowa. Yeah. They were worried about Mexicans specifically.
Yeah, Dan Gable will fight them off by himself.
Who's Dan Gable?
Iowa wrestling. Don't worry.
Oh, wow. Nice. I just know that Rulon Gardner is my only wrestling.
Yeah.
Not Iowa?
No. Gold medal winner.
Yeah.
Gable got boycotted.
Why? Oh, in 80?
I'm not sure, but the fact that you're with Joe Biden is way more interesting than what I'm saying.
Well, it wasn't at the time. No one cared about Joe Biden at the moment.
It is now. Crazy fighting Joe Biden?
Fighting Joe.
From Rehoboth all the way to Dover. Me and the black guy at work are running for president. That's Ron Bennington's impression of Joe Biden, which is on YouTube, which is
That's pretty accurate.
Amazing. Angie, do me a favor on the Tumblr page, Ron Bennington, Joe Biden. I'm fighting Joe Biden. I go all the way. I take the Amtrak train from Rehoboth to Dover, and I go to work. And me and the colored guy from work are running for president. He's here, United States. I'm fighting Joe Biden. Going back to Dover, and then I eat a hoagie.
And that's all he would talk about, too, is the Amtrak train everywhere you went.
That's his blue collar. That's the thing.
It's as good as it gets.
Is he a real guy?
Absolutely not. But, I mean, if you look at his life, I mean, he went through real tragedy. He's had a real life. I think he's a real guy, but what he presents...
Really, I'm asking you more specifically...
He's a used car salesman.
He is.
He is, but that doesn't mean that he...
But it seems, when he says on TV, you look at my record, my whole life I've spent fighting for the middle class.
That's true.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's a used car salesman, if I know that he is actually fighting his balls off for the middle class.
Yeah. His tragic life story, and I mean, he was in the Senate starting at like 29 or something, like as young as you could be. I mean, his record's amazing. The work he's done is amazing. What he knows is amazing.
What is it that makes people loathe him?
He has huge teeth that are overly white, and he's
and he'll tell you.
I don't think he's disliked on the aisle.
Oh, you don't?
No, I think he's. I think people, and he's not disliked by the voters of Delaware. I think but I think there's a reaction to him that there's a falseness that you don't encounter much in 2013 anymore. Like that probably went over fine in 1964. Like there's a mad many politicianness to him.
But I thought it was because he really actually tells you to your face like it is. Like he'll tell you something to rub you the wrong way, and like if you don't like it, I shoot from the hip. That's not your problem, not mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I always took from.
And then he had that problem with the libel stuff, but no, But anyway, these people were very upset about Mexicans in Iowa, and I couldn't figure out
both of them.
But I couldn't figure out what that was about, and then I realized that these were people who kind of contractually thought their town would never change. That was kind of. I mean, contractually kind of believed they had the right.
Let's wait for... This is TC picking up Pagnum PI on the island. Look, you got to plan for your future. You do financial planning, you get insurance, but to get real peace of mind, you got to make sure your family is legally protected. So where do you turn for affordable legal protection you can trust? LegalZoom.com. For over 12 years, they've been helping Americans get personalized wills, powers of attorney, living trusts, real estate documents, and more. LegalZoom also helps start and maintain businesses with incorporations and LLC filings, trademarks, and copyrights. Their time-saving service was developed by a team of experienced attorneys, and LegalZoom takes care of you from start to finish. LegalZoom documents have been accepted by courts and government agencies in all 50 states. LegalZoom is not a law firm, but they can connect you to an attorney and provide self-help services at your specific direction. For even more savings, enter MOHR, more, in the referral box at checkout. out. If you're a parent or entrepreneur, don't wait any longer. Call or visit LegalZoom.com. Enter MOHR in the referral box. LegalZoom.com. Mohr. Protect what's yours. So Joe Biden.
Right. So people were very upset about Mexicans in Iowa. And I realized that they thought they had an agreement that their town would never change. And now there's people coming in with different food and different music and a whole different culture. Maybe they were complaining people were working on their cars, on their lawn. And I realized that people experiencing change they didn't agree to get upset. And that's what this was largely about. So I was like, oh, you know what? When I go back to my hometown of Edison, which is almost all Indian now, I kind of feel that sense of like anomie and not belonging. And so I kind of relate to why people are freaking out about Mexicans, which I never understood. And I tried to write that, but instead I just made jokes about Indians and their food.
I didn't read the article. I read the Cliff's Notes version of what you wrote and people's reactions.
Right. That's just as good.
Until you said that you were I just made fun of Indians and their food. I was like, I don't see what the problem is. But that,
right, yeah. What I just said to you was
you made fun of some deities as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm sure. I went after everything about.
What Hindu gods did you make fun of?
I don't know that many, so I'm guessing Ganesh. Probably. I don't know. I don't know that many.
You wrote it, Stein.
It was a long time ago. This was, 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Yeah. Eons.
I write one every week.
I know, but that's the one that you had to make a public apology
Oh, no. I've
for.
apologized for many.
Huh?
I've had other ones I've had to apologize for, too.
Like what?
I wrote one called I Don't Support the Troops.
Yeah. I'm not sure I follow your logic on that one. Your logic being...
America didn't.
Because I can go way left and I can go way right. And I'm pretty much right down the middle. I wouldn't legitimize either party with my affiliation because I think it's
nice.
There's no different. We support cutting your taxes, you making more money, and having the government stay out of your business. No party goes, we're for you having less money. It's the same. The trumpet makes the same sound from both sides of the aisle. It's just white noise after a while, and no one will compromise whatsoever. So when you wrote the thing about Jersey, I didn't know you made fun of Indian people. That's never going to go over well. But how does it get past the fact checkers at time?
Well, there's a lot of Indian people at time. So my editor is half Indian. The main fact checker
and he wasn't offended.
Indian.
He just thought
no, she thought it was hilarious. And the woman who suggested the article to me was Indian. I think I grew up in a town with a lot of Indian people. I went to college with a lot of Indian people. I work with a lot of Indian people. I think we were all in a bubble of not realizing that there are other Indian people who don't know me and might be offended.
I think
if there had been another culture that I wasn't so much around, I think I would have been a little more careful and aware.
And you're not a xenophobe. The point of the article, as I understood it, was I leave, I go away for a few years, I come back, and where the McMurtry's lived is now Pradeep, Ganesh, and
the Pizza Hut's now as Indian sweet shop.
And Hemakapadia lives where the Millers used to live, and the Yesha family's over here. Like all of a sudden, what you were familiar with is completely changed with a completely different culture. Now you're the interloper in your own town.
Right.
And you were trying to express that. So you know what? Maybe these blue hairs in Iowa, maybe they're not as nutty as we think because I come home to my own town and I'm uncomfortable because I don't recognize anything.
Right. I like to take people who I disagree with.
And what's with the smell?
Yeah.
And that's where you get in trouble.
I like to find people I disagree with and try and understand where they're coming from and see if I can relate at all. And I think that was my intention, and I didn't pull it off very well.
Now, the troop one, it was weird to me because it was so incongruous with common thought.
Yes.
The common thought is, I don't support the war, but I do support our troops.
Yes.
And your take was, then you're an idiot.
Yes.
I don't support the war, and I don't support our troops because they're fighting wars, and when you sign up to join the military, you're going to get shipped someplace to kill brown people.
Yeah, that's where I went. Yeah. It started because I was seeing all of those yellow ribbons on liberal people's cars, and I just thought that was
we got to tie one around the old oak tree, as the song says.
I know. And you remember
the good old days.
Remember they did that during the Iranian hostage crisis? They were actually tying ribbons around oak trees.
All over Jersey, man.
God, I love that.
Yeah.
It was great. It was
when
exciting.
When you were a kid, you're like, yeah, man, let's kick some ass.
It was.
So your take, is it still your take? And I'm not take you out to. We're not going to argue about it. We'll have a discussion about it.
It's still my take. There are things I wrote in that column I no longer agree with that I think were
Such as?
Ignorant. Oh, I think I was advocating that troops shouldn't do things that they think are immoral if their leaders tell them to. And I've since talked to generals. For the book, I did 3 days of boot camp in the Army and a couple things with Marines who had read this article and still let me do it. And I thought that was amazing of them. It's an amazing organization. I have a lot more respect for the organization after even my 3 days. Army and the Marines.
Yeah, they kind of run a tight ship.
But it's beyond a tight ship. I mean, first of all,
the trains run on time. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Forget trains run on time. Like in 6 weeks of basic training, you become an incredibly useful troop and worker.
A killing machine.
Yeah. What happens?
Not afraid to die.
You've never had an office job, but I have. The first 6 weeks of your office job, you kind of figure out like where to file your expenses, maybe.
I know where your article went off base. Pardon the pun.
Do it. Nice.
And then I think what was omitted from the article was the admission on your side of, look, people don't join the Army to go kill stuff and shoot stuff. They join the Army because they're very poor and they're not going to a college, and this is the only thing they have. If they stay in the streets, they're going to wind up selling drugs and getting a shitload of trouble.
Right.
There's no future for them.
I actually don't think that's true anymore after having
It's absolutely. Generation Kill laid it out the greatest, I thought.
On average, they have a little more money than average. So they're not like poor, they're rural. They don't have a lot of other colleges don't come to their town.
Kid doesn't want to work a wheat thresher for the next fucking 40 years of his life.
Right.
You know what? I can go. But it is also with the recruiter. They sell these kids on, look, what do you want to do with your life? Well, I really like computers. Hey, Tuesday's computer night in the barracks. Right. We can train you, and then when you leave here, you can run IBM. So they get you in that way. Because I met the Army recruiters in Montclair, New Jersey.
Oh, those must be fine. They must get no one.
They said, what do you like to do? And I said, it's pretty urban down at below Wichita. Lackawanna. Montclair below Lackawanna Plaza borders like Newark, and you know it.
Oh, I had no idea.
Down Bloomfield Avenue
gets super rich.
Oh no, it's a different shade.
There's a bad part of Montclair.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Lackawanna. No, it's not really bad. It's just very urban. There's no like one day, we're going to be doing this.
Well, that must be hard to be the kid from the bad part of Montclair who like works really hard, goes to an Ivy League school and gets a great job, and he tries to tell people he came from bad part of Montclair. He must get no respect for that. I worked my way up
on either side.
I grew up
because the guys in the hood are like, I don't give what the fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Stanford.
Yeah. He's like, no, it was hard
California?
for me to get here. He came from Montclair. Yeah.
Yeah, Montclair is usually nice, and one of the most successfully racially divided towns I've ever seen in my life.
How did they get that done?
Just through sheer tyranny of will. Just the fact that there's just blacks living across the street from whites and vice versa. My grandparents lived in Montclair. My best friend, Adam Spiegelman, growing up, always lived in Montclair. And it was just every fifth house, there was a black family, and no one cares, ever. And Montclair High School is very black, like very, very black. Like 30% is very, if the population's 12%. And it just rolls along. It's just a beautiful machine. Verona High School, 3 black kids in my high school.
Is that right?
Yes. G.G. Gibbs.
Right.
Joel Love.
Joel Love?
And a kid that got adopted, his name was Darren DeLuca. An Italian family, obviously. So,
how were they treated?
Like a sideshow.
They were.
Like it was funny all the time when they came by. Joel Love and Javiel. Like, really? The 2 black guys have those names? Like if they went to like LaSalle College, they'd fit right in. But it's like the Jersey Shore of Verona High School.
Yeah. Did you go somewhere on the shore?
Yeah, all the time.
Where'd you go?
Bayville and Tom's River and Seaside Heights.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Seaside where
that's exactly it.
Jersey Shore.
That's exactly
we used to go there
what
too.
People in Jersey look like. Don't let anyone tell you that's an
Exactly.
unfair stereotype.
Exactly.
That's New Jersey public education. That's what they look like. And guys like me and Joel are the ones that get beat up.
How was your mullet?
Well, I rocked a mullet, but I had to cut it for wrestling.
Google my name and mullet. I believe my mullet will outdoor your mullet.
You wrote an article about the troops saying if you support the troops, don't support the war, but I support the troops.
Yeah.
That's a stupid angle to take, you said. I'm paraphrasing.
That was I didn't say it was stupid. It said it was people didn't like that. I mean, once you write, I don't support the troops, the people aren't going to be happy no matter what you write after that.
Wait, you wrote, you had a disdain for people that say, I don't support the war, but I support the troops.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I thought that was that was just going to make this war longer if people weren't.
Put that up.
Was your mullet that good?
No, bro. Nobody can touch that. You look hot, dude. You look like Kevin Dillon in Platoon when he got home.
Oh, my God. This is the nicest house.
It is.
I can't believe you would see that mullet and say I look like Kevin Dillon in Platoon.
In that picture, you're like, ain't
Wow.
nothing like pussy except in the 500, huh?
Wait, what
All right,
was that?
so there ain't nothing like a piece of pussy except maybe the Indy 500.
What's that from?
It's what Kevin Dillon says in Platoon. So your stance, why are we mulling about this? Your stance was,
Yes.
you can't say, you tell me it's faster.
You can't say I'm
Don't-
against the war, but I support the troops, because what are the troops doing except fighting a war? You are giving credence to the other side, and you are postponing this conflict. You are postponing the end of this conflict.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
And you no longer feel that way.
No, I do feel that way. I think the way I explained myself after that in the column had some logical holes that that were dumb, that were naive. But the general principle I stand by.
I don't know. I don't agree with you.
No one does.
So if you have a child
Right.
that wants to be a soldier, your son,
Right.
whose name I almost said on a podcast,
That's
it'll be
fine.
heard by your son Laszlo.
Yeah.
He, from the time he's 14, goes, I want to be a soldier.
Right.
I want to be a U.S. Marine. It's something I could be proud of. I want to serve my country. And you're just going to tell him what?
Well, after doing the stuff in my book for the Army, I did 3 days of boot camp, in which in the first 3 hours, without doing any physical activity, I fainted for the first time in my life. I would be very upset if he did that, because I'd be scared for him as a parent. You are putting your life in danger.
But your focus switched from the outrage of going and perpetuating a war and taking up for the other side to it's local, and I don't want my son to get injured.
Right. But your question is, well, I would say, you don't say, like, I support the cigarette manufacturers.
Right. But
if I'm against the cigarettes.
But I support anybody. No, I don't smoke, but if anybody wants to smoke, that's fine with me. But
Right.
that's life and death.
Yeah.
On a much long, it's a very gradual
Right, but
slope.
I'm trying
We're
to think
talking about dropping drone bombs through people's living rooms.
Exactly. I don't know if I can support. It doesn't mean I'm against the individual human beings, but I don't. As a general statement, I don't support the troops when I don't support what they're doing.
Oh, you're gonna get a lot of tweets on this
I already have. I don't know why we're bringing this up. This was 10 years ago. I went through this.
because you've written prolific
know.
things.
I know.
want to talk more about the politicians you roll with
Okay.
and your decision to circumcise your son.
All right.
Look, kids are gonna get picked on every day. They're gonna find something about a child
Right.
and just pick on them.
Sure.
It could be. Jen Kirkman was on this.
I heard.
on here,
Yeah.
and she said that her dad was a groundskeeper, and they ate at 5:00.
But
And all
also
the
her
rich
eyes
girls,
are really far apart.
but they're not really. I
Oh
sat
my
across from her, and they said, she said all the kids in high school were like dinner at 5, like the
love that.
weirdest shit.
Love
They'll just
that.
pick apart.
Yeah.
So if your kid's uncircumcised, there were 2 uncircumcised kids in my high school. I'm 42, Joel. I still know their names.
I do too.
I know
do
their
too.
names.
Me too. Art Chung.
Chuck Kukuzo and Drew Wazalewski. Egg roll and anteater.
They told you. You didn't just see it, right?
No, I was on the wrestling team with these guys.
Oh, right.
And baseball.
Wrestling's really, really.
I want to talk about you more.
Yeah.
One day, Drew Wazalewski, we called him egg roll all the time. And there was a guy, Mike Burns, in my high school that was like, got arrested for like felony assault twice. Like he used to drive down to Newark. He was like a racist. He used to knock guys out.
That was his thing? That was like his
Yeah, he would just drive around. If
extracurricular?
you just saw guys in the street, he'd be like, I think you're on the wrong side of the street. And they'd be like, man, fuck you, man. And
He was like the race enforcer?
maybe not the race enforcer, but if somebody wasn't from the town they were in, it was locals
Really?
only, and he was the enforcer. He was the locals only enforcer.
That's a weird job to give yourself.
Yeah, he just needed to get it out of his system, and he found somebody to get it out on 4 at a time, and it didn't matter. He was an animal, and he wrestled at 189, which in high school is a brick shit house.
What does he do now?
Who knows? But Drew
Facebook knows.
Wazalewski wrestled at 135 or 140 or so, and he got pinned in a tournament where he should not have lost. And Mickey Burns comes into the locker room. Drew Wazalewski is standing there butt-ass naked, just got out of a shower. We're in, like, Pingree, some fucking
Yeah, I know.
shitty, asshole, rich, fucking stupid school. I lost in that tournament too. And he walks in. He goes, "Cheer up, egg roll." And Drew Wazalewski stood up and punched Mickey Burns in the face and fucking cracked his orbital bone in his eye. Like, just split his face open, like on a cartoon, split his face open. The guy was unconscious before his knees buckled. It was the most perfect shot. Now, this was the guy that the cops wouldn't get out of the cars until a third and fourth cop car came because he was that nuts. And Drew Wazalewski dropped him with one shot. And he's standing over him and he goes, "Don't ever call me that again!" With just this uncircumcised dick flapping between his legs, 5 inches above Mickey Burns' face, who's unconscious on the floor. We all called him Drew after that.
Well, maybe if my son hadn't been circumcised, he would, it's like a boy named Sue. Maybe he would grow up tough like that.
Yeah, but let's show people your dick to enforce the rules of the boy named Sue theory.
That's a good point.
Did you give your mom a hard time growing up? Did you pick your earwax and feed it to the dog and go, "What? He wanted it"? Right now, send her Pro Flowers this Mother's Day, okay? Pro Flowers has 1 dozen rainbow roses for $19.99 or double the roses and get chocolates plus a premium pink vase for just $29.98. That's 50% off. You just need my code MOHR, M-O-H-R, when you order to get these special prices. Colorful bouquet of roses that will make mommy smile. This offer is just for my More Stories listeners. Do more than send a card. Your mom's going to love it. Pro Flowers are guaranteed to last a full week or your money back. Choose the date you want them delivered. They will deliver them for you. Freshly picked bouquet, perfect for Mother's Day. Pro Flowers was recently awarded highest customer satisfaction with online flower retailers by J.D. Power and Associates. Visit jdpower.com if you don't believe me. My friends, here's the only way to get this amazing Mother's Day deal. Go to proflowers.com, click on the microphone in the top right corner, type in MOHR, M-O-H-R. That's proflowers.com. Click on the microphone and type in MOHR, M-O-H-R. You roll with Obama ever?
No, never. I've gotten to see him speak, but I've never met him.
Who's highest up the ladder that you got to roll with for time?
Oh, I don't do that much political stuff.
Well, you just went door to door with Joe Biden,
yeah,
so you do.
Every 4 years I get to do some stuff during the campaigns.
It's kind of fascinating, bro.
Yeah, no, it's
to
fun.
you, it's your job, but to
no,
us,
it's not.
It's like, wow.
No, I do little political stuff. I'm going next week to go see Governor Mark Sanford. And do you remember the guy who walked the Appalachian Trail? Took off from his wife, who's governor of South
and
Carolina.
Said he's in like Argentina or something.
Yeah, he's still with that woman, by the way.
Yeah,
the woman he took off with.
And what's up with his wife? Should you stand by your man, Tammy Wynette style?
No, they're broken up. He's with that woman.
Oh.
They worked out with him and the woman, and so he's running for Congress.
Wasn't he running against somebody uber popular? A woman?
He's running against Stephen Colbert's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go hang out with both of them. No, it's May 7th. So I'm going to go out there in a week.
Wow, that's weird.
Really weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to be there, and so the only political things you've done is the Joe Biden. Every 4 years, Joe Biden.
I do a little stuff. I spent time with Ron Paul. I spent some time with... Who did I spend time with this year?
Ron Paul, probably the most popular underground. He's like an underground. He's like NRBQ. He's like an underground band that everyone loves, but no one's really seen.
This isn't every field, but those pockets of like they seem like the Louis C.K. show seems like the biggest deal in the world, but it doesn't have that many viewers.
Right.
That's how Ron Paul is. Like, he walked into the Republican convention this year when I was there. I happened to be standing where he walked into the convention, unexpected, and the room just exploded like he was Jesus, like just people touching him. So there's this huge outpouring of love from a small percentage of people, but it's very intense for Ron Paul. But
you just said it was at the convention, though.
I know, and there was a big Ron Paul group at the convention. And the people there for Mitt Romney didn't care about Mitt Romney. The people there for Ron Paul cared a lot.
I don't even know if Mitt Romney knew what town he was in.
Oh my God. I saw him this time and I saw him 4 years before. And the improvement was amazing. He was such a better politician this time than 4 years ago. And he still sucked.
I did the Tonight Show with him, and I've done the Tonight Show with John McCain, Hillary Clinton. I've done it with
McCain's awesome, right?
Great, but Hillary was the one that shook my hand, and I bear with me on this one. You go, am I getting a fuck me vibe from this? Like, this is weird. That's the politician. They look into your soul.
I don't think so. I've seen her, and I got nothing.
A good politician shakes your hand, and you're the only one that's ever existed in my life. What's going on?
Tom Cruise style.
Exact. Yeah. Tom Cruise, Uber president. Move on to the next person. Uber present.
It gets you laid. It's an amazing skill.
Well, I don't know if Hillary's out trolling for cock,
I
but
think she is.
and Mitt Romney was very nice and all. But the thing about Ron Paul is, I think we all need someone. America is pining for a guy. That's why we all loved Ross Perot. We need a guy to go. We want to go back to charts and graphs. Like Jimmy Carter had it, and they called him doom and gloom. He's like, this is the amount of rainforest that gets cut down. This are our emissions. That means in 400 years, there's no more life on the planet. And they're like, okay, Jimmy, easy there, peanut man. Take it easy. So with Ross Perot and Ron Paul, Ross Perot is a little batshit crazy, I would assume. Allegedly. This is me, not Joel speaking. But with Ron Paul, he just takes people out at the knees when their ideas are ludicrous, or if they don't have an idea and they're doing that polit speak, he goes, you haven't said anything yet. Yeah. And we all want that guy in the fight.
We need that guy. But then
why doesn't that guy ever get fucking votes?
Well, that guy tends to oversimplify. That guy tends to want to go on the gold standard. So things are, I mean, the size of the federal government, the size of this country makes things more complicated. So.
But it also makes it run. When people say they want smaller government, Ross Perot, for example, wants to do away with the IRS.
Right.
Okay. Do you know how that's a 500,000 jobs that are done immediately?
I do wonder.
Every person that does your taxes, everyone that works in the Treasury,
I know.
Every accountant, every accountant's assistant, every receptionist.
But wouldn't it be great if they had better jobs, different jobs, other jobs?
Bro, they're not going to go from there and all of a sudden run Nike.
No, but that's what this was the argument they made about getting rid of like the tolls in New Jersey, about getting rid of the people that pump your gas in New Jersey. But eventually you help those people and it works out, right? I don't want people doing jobs that are unnecessary.
If you're 16, 17, you need that job. You need that job to get over the hump. I can't go intern at Dow Chemical as a 16-year-old. I just want to make some money to cover my beer run and my pot for the summer, bro.
I know, but I don't know.
Tell me, help me.
I don't know. Other states don't have people pumping your gas for you. This state doesn't have toll booths. It works out somehow, right? I think they work at restaurants.
Yeah, well, there's I think the surplus of movie and acting work probably doesn't
helps.
What do you think? What do you think? I would guess the movie industry and TV industry is way more revenue than tolls.
I would hope so.
In New Jersey. I go the other way with it. I get so sick and tired when they raise like the tolls. I remember they were 25 cents back in the day. I remember they were 25 cents and they raised it to like 30 cents.
Right.
And I'm like, and same thing with subway tokens. When it was $1, they raised it to $1.25. I'm like, bro, just raise it to $5.
Get it over with.
Don't talk to me for 20 years.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
People will go apeshit, right?
How about this? How about privatizing the roads? Don't have public roads.
That's how it started.
Right.
They were all private. Yeah.
Truman pulled that shit together for us. Thank God. Because
the highways, you mean?
Yeah, like numbering and all that. And Truman was the guy.
Was that Eisenhower or Truman?
It was Truman. Truman had nothing to do when he was in Congress. Nothing. So he got in his car and he obsessively took notes of where all the roads.
Is that true? I don't know this.
That was his whole thing. He had nothing to do. And then when he was sworn as vice president, it was like the next day he was president.
Wow. Well, now I have more respect for Truman.
Oh, Truman's bet. Greatness has thrust upon you.
Yeah.
Like, hi, president died. You're the new president. You have to drop the atom bomb. The steelworkers are going on strike in the middle of the Korean War. You got to deal with that. And we have to create a place for the Jews to live. Have fun. He created Israel.
It's a good choice.
Did you know that? You're a Jew.
I thought
Truman said, according to my Bible, they live here.
Really?
Well, who'd you say?
I thought the Brits were...
there was a union that brought it to Truman's attention, but it had to be a U.S. spearheaded thing.
Really? I thought Palestine was under British control at that point. I don't know. I went to all these years of Hebrew school, and I was taught all this Zionism, and I got in the principal's office. I
read the Truman biography, and it was the bane of his existence. Every day the Jewish lobby was in the White House.
Could you imagine a bunch of Jews bothering you like
every day? They're just like,
God, that would be the worst group.
They need a place. And I'm always like, well, they need a place to go. And I wish there was some... I'm telling this whole podcast. I'm telling you my politics instead of the other way around.
I'm an interviewer. This is my deal. Where do you want the Jews?
I think look. This is a group of people where genocide was committed. Okay.
Right.
We'll do these later. Genocide was committed, and when the World War II, when the Great World War, the second one, the good one, when World War II was over, they needed a place to go. It was a giant problem. It was just refugees, north, east, south, west. No matter where you went, there were just Jews everywhere.
Can you imagine
So
the
let's
smell?
get
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So we found the place because in Harry Truman's Bible it says they live here.
Right. But they also actually lived there.
Yes.
There were tons of Jews in Palestine. Yeah, okay.
Yes. Including Jesus, who's like an actual
No,
guy. I'm with you.
I mean, after World War II, there were a lot of Jews already settling in Palestine who lived there for a long time.
Right, but they didn't pick like just Oregon. They picked that place for a reason.
But yeah,
and the Palestinians are saying the whole Mavo, let's go. The whole argument is who really was there first, right?
Right.
Okay. If I was president of the United States, I would go to Palestinian leaders and I would say, look, I know for a fact you were here first. Whether or not I'd be telling the truth is up for debate. I don't know who was there first. I don't have that much fucking time to keep going back until the earth cooled. At some point, the lowest common denominator of humanity has to kick in, and you have to learn to love thy neighbor regardless of which book you subscribe to. Subscribe?
Yeah, that's right. Subscribe. That's the right word.
At some point, the lowest common denominator of human good has to say, well, they've had a tough road to hoe. You guys can set up shop over there. We'll set up shop. Now, granted, the Palestinians, they lost land and they lost...
And no one would take them. They
Correct.
Yeah.
They're and now it's an entirely...
They got kicked out of every Arab country they tried to go to.
Yes. It's been a problem from day one. And I don't know...
I'm sorry, what were you done with the U.S. sent the Jews where? To Israel.
Right where they are right now.
I like the
Where would you send them?
I've always liked the Adam Carolla solution of sending them to Mexico. Do you know that theory?
I think you sound like Dog Day Afternoon. I've always liked Wyoming.
How do you remember movies? This has always bothered me about you. It's weird.
Stuff.
Not like you. It's amazing.
I didn't know Carolla said send them to Mexico.
Yeah, because he thinks it'll improve the Mexican economy. And Jews it's a nice warm place that Jews would like.
There's so many rocks. Who knows with the heat? And I don't know about this Cancun. Every time the shiksas come in every 2 months, every time it stops raining, there's a new plane of shiksas.
They like that.
They love it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, if I was president, I think I would say to a Palestinian leader behind closed doors, completely off the record, I would say, look, bro, you're right. I know you're right. But every time you kill 2 Jews, they level 2 streets with 600 Palestinians. I've done the math. 10 years, no more Palestine. So unless you become allies with everyone that's not allies with me, we got to go about this a different way. Because every time you take out 2 Jewish soldiers, they take out 2 Palestinian streets and all the utilities and all the people and the women and the children. It's disproportionate and it's not working. And I can't control them. They're their own thing. So I'm asking you to help me help you. We got to figure out a different solution.
I think you have maybe a real role in this.
Maybe stop killing Jewish. Now, I don't know who. I know that, and I would even appease to the person. I know they killed you first. Like everything the Palestinian leader needed to hear, whether I believed it or not. I know they started it. I know this is your land, but this is where we are today.
That's not a great guerrilla strategy. Just to
help me. Break it down.
I'm just saying, like, if I were them and I knew the whole world was on my side and and felt bad for me when I suffered, and I knew that if I hang in there long enough and suffer enough, that the great wave of population is on my side because we're having more babies. I don't know if I would give up so easily if I were them.
Who are you referring to?
The Palestinians.
You're saying the entire world is anti-Semitic and pro-Palestinian.
I don't even say anti-Semitic. I think they have the sympathy of certainly the Western world, not including the U.S., but Europe feels bad for colonialism, which includes them.
Right.
And so they have the
U.S.
sympathy
and Britain,
of the world.
Huge.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's kind of...
It's good. It's
kind
not
of what
great.
You need, right?
Yeah. It only needs the U.S. Like, we have more military than the rest of the world combined, right? I don't know. I obviously don't know how to
I
solve
mean,
that.
you are a Jew.
I am a Jew.
So what would you say? How would you fix it?
Oh, I have no idea how you fix that.
That's your next article.
To fix the Palestinian problem?
Yeah, I got it. I know how to fix it.
Yeah, you're just gonna wink at them and tell them I'm on your side, but I'm really giving them some stuff.
Ping pong tournament.
That really solves a lot, doesn't it?
Loser leave home's match. You got to win by 2. Got to win by 2 though.
Not soccer.
No. You got to use your hands. You got to get sweaty at the table. You crank some tunes.
The Jews are pretty
You know what?
good at ping pong.
First Kid Rock album. Palestinians versus Jews. You play Kid Rock when he had the midget out there rapping.
Right.
I'm 3'2" with a 4-foot dick, Little Joe or whatever his name is. And you just have like a 3. Rest in peace. You have like a 6-month ping pong tournament, and the stakes get higher and higher and higher. Loser leaves town match. No questions asked.
First of all, who wouldn't watch on TV?
Pay-per-view, dude.
Totally. Do they still do pay-per-view?
Yeah, UFC owns
UFC's all on pay-per-view?
They do a lot of free fights on Fuel and on Fox and on FX, but
the main ones are
big
pay-per-view?
tickets
I should
on
know that.
pay-per-view. They're
I fought Randy Couture for my book.
Yeah, your book we really should talk more about.
No, I didn't mean like that. I just meant my UFC experience.
I literally want to promote your book because I enjoy your writing.
Thank you.
You don't want me to promote your book.
This
is the most Jewish conversation ever. No, I'm just, if you were, I don't want, if it was all right with you. Promote the book, Mr. Hitler, sure. The name of the book.
It's Man-Made, A Stupid Quest for Masculinity.
You spent 24 hours with firefighters?
I did, here in L.A.
Did you get a call?
Yes. Oh, my God. In L.A., the firefighters are also the ambulance.
Yes.
So we had a call. And I purposely went to one of the 10 busiest fire stations in Los Angeles. So we had a call at least once an hour.
Really?
And we went to a fire.
Did they strap you in? Did you get to hold the hose like a big boy?
I got to hold the hose. What does strap me in mean?
Like get all the gear on.
Yeah. You
weren't in the truck with a notebook.
Sometimes I was in the truck with a notebook.
But you were actually at the scene of a fire trying to put out a fire.
The fire was out. First of all, these guys are so stoked for fires. Like all they want is a fire. They are sad about the sprinkler laws. Like they'll tell you they're glad that the sprinkler laws are in effect, but they're sad there's no big building fires anymore. But no, they are so psyched for it. So if there's a fire, every fire station within like 100 miles races. That's why you see so many fire engines going somewhere, because they're all hoping for a fire, and they all want to get there first. Because if you're there first, you get to go inside. And if you're there second, you get to like chop some stuff on the roof. Like third or fourth, you're holding the hose in the back, which sucks.
Where were you?
We got there. We had a parking problem. We got there kind of, we would have been first or second, but we like didn't see where the pump was. We kind of screwed up the parking, so we were there like third. So they weren't going to let me inside, but I was
still feel the heat.
One of our guys went inside anyway. He wasn't really supposed to. And then there's a big fight afterwards as to whose jurisdiction. They take out maps and like, no, this is technically in our jurisdiction. So you can stay and clean up. Like if you have a fire in your sushi joint at 3 a.m, like we did, which I find suspicious, they stay and like clean everything up.
The firemen do?
Yeah. After you had a fire and they put it out, they clean up everything.
Don't they have to keep it the way it is for evidence?
Well, we had
started by something or
because it was a sushi restaurant at 3 a.m. There was they brought in the arson unit, but no, I guess they know how to look at the wires
lightning.
And stuff. Jewish lightning. It seemed like it.
Japanese Jewish lightning.
I don't know. I wanted...
that's a new role they have.
Oh,
yes. Well, maybe you try Jewish lightning. It's very spicy. Good for you.
Salmon.
Yeah.
Cream cheese.
Roe. We
could come up with that.
Yeah, Jewish lightning would be a great role.
Hot pepper.
Hashtag Jewish lightning at Joel Stein.
The Joel Stein.
At the Joel Stein.
Yeah.
Hashtag Jewish lightning.
Yeah.
Let him know you were here and you listened to him. You're currently employed by whom?
Me. Fake mustache people.
Come on.
No, I write a column every week for Time. I write other stuff for them. Time. Yeah. I write for other magazines too. And
do you ever feel like you wish you were writing other things, like a great comedy or?
I've written some sitcoms.
Oh, really?
I've written failed pilots, and I was once staffed on a show. And then I'm writing a movie version of my book for Fox. And I like
Naturally Martha
stuff.
Stewart you wrote for.
Martha Stewart. I was credited,
around,
I believe, I hope, as a writer for the Martha Stewart show.
You got to go find it out.
You know what? I feel like if I were, I would have been really proud and remembered that. But I don't see how I wasn't.
Well, you're too busy staring at her ass inline skating.
I know.
How was it?
Her ass?
No, inline skating. Dummy.
Both seemed great. Seemed really good. Seemed like she kept herself in great shape. Possibly through inline skating.
She spoiled you. Now it's time to spoil her. Your mom, she's the best. Let her know it with berries and flowers. You can spoil her twice. This is a one-day only offer. Send mom a beautiful bouquet of flowers, and on the very next day, have freshly dipped strawberries delivered from Sherry's Berries for only $39.99. She gets the flowers. She thinks it's done. It's not done. Berries, boom, next day, twice. Berries dipped in white milk and dark chocolatey goodness. Topped with chocolate chips, decorative swizzle, or nuts. Flowers are beautiful and classic. You just need my code MOHR, M-O-H-R, when you order. Here is the only way to get this amazing Mother's Day deal. Visit berries.com. Berries, like B-E-R-R-I-E-S. Berries.com. Click on the microphone in the top right corner. Type in MOHR, M-O-H-R. Berries.com. Click on the microphone. Type in MOHR, M-O-H-R. This offer is good for today only. Take care of your mom. It's the right thing to do. Make her happy. Order now. Hi, everybody. I want to talk to you for a second about Celebrity Finger My Sister. It's a new show on the Learning Channel after half man, after half tree. That's how strong. Joe Biden, used car salesman,
Yep.
but represents his constituents, and that's all you can really ask from a guy, right?
Yeah, he's just old school.
So I don't know what that means. To me, old school, they were more like, William Jennings Bryan up on the soapbox,
Right.
screaming at the tops of their lungs for something they really believed in. That's what they're
Not
old.
that old.
Yeah, that's actual.
That's
actual
really
1899.
Yeah. No, just I feel like there's a certain falseness and being a politician that you could get away with before that you can't get away with now.
I think that's all we have now, and I think that's why guys like Ross Perot, people want used to want Lee Iacocca to run, and
Right.
we always want the businessman to run. We're so sick of the spit polish shine guys.
He's got a spit polish shine. Like,
Yeah, we're sick of these guys. We're sick of Obama. We're sick of Mitt
Yeah.
Romney. We're sick of all the guys that are looking.
who
us
are we
in the
not sick
eyes.
of?
All of
Who's
them.
out there now?
Politicians.
Yeah.
And the moment a guy like Ron Paul goes, "This is crazy."
But you know what? During the Mitt Romney, when he kept screwing up, and he'd like go over to Europe and say, "I don't think you're running the Olympics that well in London," and he kept saying something in every place. And there's a part of me that was like, "Well, you know why politicians are fake? Because as soon as they express their real opinion, we jump on them. Like you can't have it both
You know
ways."
what I want?
Pootie
I
Tang.
want like the movie Dave.
Of course you do,
Kevin
but,
Kline.
but in real life, if Dave said any of that stuff, there'd be like 100,000 people who are angry at him.
But we've learned that you don't apologize, you're okay.
Well, if you set up your personality early as that's who you are, you're okay.
Like Chris Christie.
Yes, exactly.
I like
set that
Chris
up early.
Christie a
Everyone
lot.
likes Chris
I like
Christie.
him a lot.
Yeah, except for the gay thing.
Well, yeah, that's absurd. But that will be overridden on a state level until he caves in on a federal level if he's
But
president.
he really wimped out.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
But other than that, I like-
as did the president of the United
Yeah,
States.
yeah,
He got
yeah.
forced into it by Joe and his big mouth.
Yeah.
So anybody that's anti-gay things, gay rights are human rights. That's what I tell.
But he just had a sign what the legislature sent him.
Right.
So, but in general,
But that's him. To me, that's him politicking for the chair in 2016. It makes perfect sense to me. And then when he's in the White House, if he's in the White House, look. You and I both, I assume you know this as a fundamental truth. This gay rights thing is going to bury all of these men. No one is going to stand 20 years from now. It's like women voting. It's like
Right.
blacks being able to sit in front of the bus. Like these are human beings. These are your uncles, your aunts. These are your neighbors.
It's going to be
your
hard to
friends.
explain.
These are your coworkers that are in love with someone.
It's going to be hard to explain
They
why
don't
you
want
weren't
to go
on board.
just suck cock and do like anal
Right.
sex and bleed and fuck and get AIDS and spread it to a monkey in Haiti. Like
Right.
these are like actual loving, dear people that are in your actual families.
Until you got to the bleeding part. Now I'm not so sure I'm for gay
There's
marriage.
tearing if you don't do
Now
it.
I'm
right.
rethinking my whole stand on gay marriage.
No, I'm going by what the Republicans probably
But
think.
it's a
what
good
they're
point.
against.
I'm just saying.
All right. But I don't want to make a joke out of this
No.
because I'm very passionate about it.
Good.
It's human rights.
Right.
And if you don't think it's a human right, ask your cousin, ask your uncle, ask your aunt. Everyone has someone in their family That is a card-carrying fag.
Right.
Turn the fucking page.
Right. I don't think I like to be called that.
I'm saying it now because I'm on the waiting list. I'm on the waiting list.
Good.
You are all man, Joel Stein. We've covered that. So I think Christie pussing out on the gay rights thing, I think that's him staying in... he had Obama, the love affair with Obama during the hurricane, and I think the gay thing is to keep him firmly entrenched down the company line for the GOP. Right. Would you agree with that? Do you really think Chris Christie thinks gays shouldn't be married? I have a hard time believing.
I don't know.
With the exception of like Southern guys that are just old and out of touch. Like, well, my boy plays football at the university alongside the niggers, so I don't see any problem with it. Like those foghorn leghorn politicians, sure, they believe it's evil and everybody's going to hell. But I don't think he lives in fucking Jersey.
I know.
He goes to Manhattan, hangs out at Jimmy Fallon. Guess who's there? Whole bunch of gay people doing hair. They did his hair in Saturday Night Live. You think a gay guy didn't put makeup on the governor?
They did a good job,
And did he say, get your fucking gay hands off me? Or did he go, hey, he's a nice guy. He did my makeup.
Well, that's worse, though, to like hang out with that guy and then not give him the right to get married.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think it was by design to stay.
That's even worse. Yeah.
It's politics.
But that's the worst kind of politics. And I'm just saying I can't get behind that kind of politics.
I agree with you.
Other than that, though, if you can look past that, I find him
I can't
charming
look
and
past
refreshing.
that. But and he's the guy that what makes it sadder is he's the guy that could get away with it.
That's what I mean.
He had so much sway and so much power that's what made it so confounding.
I agree.
2016, who's running against whom?
No one knows yet, right? It's so early.
You got to make a prediction.
But
for Time magazine.
Obama was it was his first term as a senator.
Are you disappointed in Obama so far?
Definitely.
I'm terribly disappointed in Obama.
Me too. You vote for him anyway?
I voted for him in the first primary, and he lost California to Hillary. And I thought, well, if you can't even win my state, I'm not going to go to bat for you a second time, bro.
Interesting. So wait,
I voted in the primary.
So you voted for McCain?
No, I voted for. Then I didn't vote the second time because I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is going to be a curb stop.
Plus, we have to vote every 6 weeks in Los Angeles.
Yes.
There's a lot of voting.
Car tax, time to vote.
Oh, my God.
Here's the thing. I voted for him in the primary right here at the high school.
But we're right down the street. This is a beautiful area.
Thank you.
Is this all action money?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No. This is Gary Unmarried money.
Okay, good.
And he lost the primary against McCain. He lost the primary to Hillary.
Right.
So I thought,
was a thing for you.
I went to bat. What?
Is this before she tried to get with you?
Listen, I'm trying to answer your question.
Okay,
Who said it didn't happen?
It's just weird that you'd then vote for the other guy.
Well, because I dug Obama. I dug the message.
Seems like you guys had a thing, though.
But the message has turned out to be just this hollow fucking paper tiger. It's awful. And he has no balls whatsoever. Here's John Boehner, walking out of the White House. And again, for the listeners, I'm neither. I am a proud independent. They're making the same racket. Right. It's just two different colored ties. Don't fool yourself. Well, no. The Democrat, trust us. They're all fucking charlatans, snake oil salesmen. Every once in a while, a good one comes along. Whether it be Nixon, if he wasn't absolutely batshit crazy, might have been the greatest dictator we ever had.
I actually have come to believe that the intentions of politicians are all pretty good and that they are trying to give back and do good. I actually believe that.
In the beginning. Your whole first term is just to get elected for a second term. Well, every decision you make, constituents be damned, what's going to get me to 55%?
Yeah, a lot of your time is spent raising money and a lot...
and everything you vote on is just to see if you can get that second term. And then the second term is when you're supposed to really be making hay. It's
tough. I think they have good intentions, and it's tough.
Yeah.
To make the difference they want to make. I mean, and in a good way too, because we have a country that kind of has a lot of stagnation because it doesn't have constant revolution and turmoil. It kind of runs itself.
There's a great line in the newsroom where Jeff Daniels said, every 2 years, the government's overthrown and there's not one arrest.
Yeah,
that was
it's nice,
such
right?
a great line. And my thing is presidential biographies, presidential politics.
It seems that way.
And presidential history is like a huge passion of mine. And every time a guy leaves office, going back to, Andrew Jackson, for crying out loud, what freaks them out the most isn't that they're no longer president. It's about 2 weeks after the fact when they realize the peaceful transfer of power is something that you and I, it's like a snail trying to figure out the internet. Like, it blows your mind.
Because
when you're laying on a farmhouse
yeah,
bed and you go, I just handed the United States over to a guy on a handshake.
who's never done this before, and
No tanks in the street. I walked down the street. He walked. We shook hands. And now I'm just back on a farm.
and that guy walks into a bunch of empty offices.
Restaffs it, and no one overtakes it. There's no coup.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
People don't appreciate it. Do you know remember the end of, do you see Game Change?
Yeah.
Remember the end when Sarah Palin wants to make the speech and McCain won't let her?
Yeah.
That's his speech. This is a peaceful transition of power. The most important thing is that we show that we're behind the black president. It's a great speech, but that's the whole point. That the point of my concession speech isn't a concession speech. It's to make sure that the other half of the country is behind them.
Great speech.
It's a great speech.
Was Palin? Did you get close to Palin?
I've never met her. I know people that worked for her, but
Was she an actual idiot, or were we all just fed that by the lamestream media?
I have the same opinion everyone else has, which is she seems to be a wily, smart person with no particular curiosity about the world. Like, I don't think she reads the newspaper. I don't think she reads a national newspaper.
Here, the thing about Obama that really bothered me, Joel Stein, who has a book out called Man-Made that you should buy, is Boehner walking out of the Oval Office because they couldn't get a deal done. He walked out. He didn't walk out of the Oval Office like time's up. He walked out on the president.
Yeah.
Can you fucking imagine somebody walking out on LBJ?
Right.
Somebody walking out on even Clinton, George Bush II, anybody. Like, I would have held a press conference that night and said, I'm trying to get a deal. You can preempt any programming when you're president. That's one of the coolest things. You got free TV time whenever you want it. And I would have said, I tried to get the deal done, and I would have held up what I wrote, what I came up with, and I would have held up what he came up with, and I would have said, we're this far apart. And that motherfucker actually left the Oval Office, the most esteemed room in the world. He just decided, I'm out of here. That's all. Go back to 2.5 Men. Thanks for your time.
I imagine being walked out, even just being who you are now, by John Boehner. That's not a guy who should be walking out of rooms.
If either of you two walked out,
I've never walked out. Have you ever walked out of a room?
What the fuck just happened? But if I was the president, and you walked out on me, I wouldn't be trying at all to do anything on the other side of the aisle.
Right.
It's war, bro. You just signed.
It is pretty much war right now.
You just told me to go fuck myself.
I know.
You walked out of the office that Kennedy got blown in. How dare you, sir? Have you no decency?
You know I'm totally walking out at some point in the middle of this interview.
Yeah, we're way past due here.
Really? Should I just walk
We took
out?
a lot of time. No, please don't.
Okay, I won't.
You're too kind.
Thank you.
We took a lot of
I didn't
time
want
you
to.
talking to my wife on the phone.
What is whoa? Speaking of,
You take that with you.
what?
There's
a Tiffany box
It's an
here.
extra thing from Tiffany. that
What?
We bought an extra for Christmas and nobody wound up with it.
An extra what?
It's just like a cheap bracelet.
You just buy extra stuff at Tiffany's?
No, it's not real. I got it from a Sudan guy.
This is
Because he used to pump gas in Jersey. They took his job away from him. But
Please?
now he's selling Tiffany.
Honestly, it says please return to Tiffany and
If
Company.
found, please return to Tiffany.
Well, maybe are we supposed to do that?
No, that's the joke, Joel. That's what women wear, and they like it.
I have no idea. I don't
This
live
is
this kind of
lousy
life.
radio.
This is all action money.
Tell us, it's not. Action
I loved action.
was a good,
So
very good
good.
show.
So
Should have been
good.
a movie.
It was. Oh, that's interesting.
You fought Randy Couture for your book, Man-Made.
I did. 1 round.
The most alarming thing. Did you train for it?
Yeah, Dana White trained me. He brought in like a jiu-jitsu guy, and he brought in a Muay Thai guy, and he brought in. He taught me how to box himself.
Yeah. Dana's a tough dude.
Dana's a tough. I like Dana,
But
He's a
Randy
tough dude.
Couture, the first thing you notice is what?
This incredible line in the middle of his forehead. What do you mean?
Yes, whatever you first
Oh.
noticed.
Yeah, I mean he's got this like He's a very smart, very nice guy, but he's got a certain Cro-Magnon look to him.
Yeah.
That was very intimidating. And I went to his gym in Vegas, Extreme Couture Gym or whatever it's called. And I walked in and wanted to introduce myself before we fought. And, basically let him know I'm a nice guy, don't hurt me. And he was like, not having it. He wasn't talking to me. He just brought me in.
Really?
Yeah, he just brought me into the octagon. He was very serious, like we were really going to fight.
What's in it for him to beat up a journalist?
I don't know.
Did he beat you up?
No. I mean, I thought
I kicked his ass, JJ.
I thought it was going to be 15 seconds of blinding pain and then I'd be okay. But he made me go the full 5 minutes. Like he took it. He went at like 10%.
Were you wearing like leg pads?
You know, my dad had boxed, and my dad called me the day before, and he was like, "You have a cup, right?" I told you to get a cup. I'm like, "Fuck, I don't have a cup." So I woke up really early and drove around Vegas and like sweating and panicking until I found like a Dick's Sporting Goods store, and I walked in and bought a cup.
Dick's.
And I was so scared. I remember the guy was trying to make small talk with me. I couldn't even do it. I was like,
wait,
Don
did you have
Draper.
leg pads on? You were sparring with Randy Couture.
No, because I didn't even have a face guard because he said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to hit you too hard in the face."
Right, but he could still leg kick you and break your actual leg.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I did have leg guards on. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
And elbow too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's proper sparring gear.
Good. Yeah. I had the proper sparring gear.
What hurt the most? The leg? What? It's shocking when you get a leg kick. It goes all the way up through your spine.
It's crazy.
Your teeth hurt.
He didn't hit me like that. The Muay Thai guy did, so I knew what it felt like. Oof. That is rough. I got more hurt by the jiu-jitsu stuff. I got really messed up.
Ground?
Well, Dana White said, first thing you need to know is what it feels like to get choked out. So we had...
is that how Dana White talks? He talks like my fans?
He talks like what? Your fans? First thing you get choked out. Joel. For real, bro? With more curses. And a little Boston. Yeah. Yeah, so then he had a guy choke me out, and it didn't quite take because... I think he'd never choked out like a total pussy before, and he didn't realize that I was going to try and help.
You can't rape the willing.
You can't. Exactly. So
you're like, please choke me out.
No, I wanted it over with.
You ejaculated all over yourself. I think that's 4 ejaculation jokes in an hour and a half.
That's nothing.
Okay.
I tried to fall asleep and help, and I think he really realized. He's like, "Did you dream, bro?" And I was like, I didn't dream this a few seconds. He's like, "You're supposed to dream. Let's do it again." So then they had him choke me out again and again. I think I tried to help and fall asleep and fooled them. And so they wanted to do it 3rd time.
I could probably choke you out. What was this guy's problem?
Exactly. I think they just weren't used to someone like trying to help a little bit. I don't know what happened.
I like you like, oh, I'm so choked out right now, you guys. Did you go like, it was the weirdest dream, like the 5th time? Yeah, you and I were at the beach, and you lost a flip-flop or something, but the beach was connected to, like, the street I grew up on. It was so weird. Oh, my God. And everybody was playing softball with Eddie the King Feiner. It was a really bizarre dream, man.
That night, I couldn't swallow my own spit. I couldn't.
Really?
Yeah, I was
What
in bad
hurt
shape.
the most?
That I think the being choked out and the jiu-jitsu
from Randy
stuff.
Couture.
Randy didn't hurt me. He just scared me and tired me out. And then he stood over me like Ali and said, "Do you want to go another round?" And I just yelled, "Fuck no!" But I wish I'd done it. I think I could have done it. He told me I adrenaline-wise tired myself out before we started.
It's called an adrenaline dump.
I dumped it all.
Yeah.
Right. I took a huge
See it on
adrenaline dump.
TV all the time. Guy goes into the ring, 2 minutes in, he's heaving with breath.
I was so scared.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, I was pretty. And because he's like, "Let's warm up first." So he ran in circles and did push-ups and stuff. So I just kind of followed him and ran in circles behind him and did push. I didn't know what I was doing.
Did Yakety Sax play when you were doing it? Benny Hill.
Did you watch Benny Hill on PBS?
Of course I did.
Because there was nudity.
Cleavage, yeah.
Oh, they suckered us in.
It's better than Uncle Floyd.
I don't know. Uncle Floyd.
Yes, come on.
With his ray gun?
Yeah.
I saw Uncle Floyd live.
Ooh, how'd you get tickets?
My dad took me in Jersey.
I'm surprised they were available.
The same place I saw Howard Stern, and the same place.
Where is it? Oh, Club Benet or
Club Benet.
That's where
well
it was?
done.
Yeah, Jackie Martling always played there. Tower of Power was always there.
Yep. And
This
then
has been a very Jersey episode. But I will say this: you have to come back because I want you to do all the talking next time.
that's not what I do.
I know, but I want you to tell great stories about how you.
I think it makes more sense for me to interview you
with a planned weed eater in your garage. I thought that was barbaric.
He has a huge penis.
Mine does. My son does also.
My son has totally normal penis, but when we were looking
you
at
said huge. Just
well,
now.
because when we were looking at the You know they give you that strip of black and white photos in the sonograms?
Yes.
Our female, very smart, seemingly normal OBGYN kept writing, we have them still. She wrote, wow, and then pointed to his penis and drew like a cock and balls, and then said, if he doesn't do well in school, he can always work in the valley.
That's really funny.
That's what she gave us. That's what, yeah.
My son got circumcised, and he said, whoa, he's got the penis of a 2-year-old. And I realized that's the only time that has ever been said as a compliment, is when there's a 3-month-old strapped to a table. It's done by a moil at UCLA.
You always should do a moil. Jewish or not, it's a better system.
It's great.
We had a moil from UCLA who was a pediatrician.
Yeah.
Do you remember his name?
I don't recall, but if you say it, I would remember it.
Oh, I think I can do it. Is it Steve Learman?
Dr. Vinny Boombots.
Was it Boombots? He's good. He's very
Learman?
good. Yeah.
It was him.
Really?
He was great. And
So nice.
He made me stay and watch.
And then you come back a week later and
Did
he
he make
looks
you
at your
stay and
son's
watch?
penis? We did. My wife was a trooper on the whole
He
thing.
made
Held
me
him
stay
down.
and watch. And they have metal things, and your son's penis
Rough,
goes
isn't
up.
it?
It's like they're doing heart surgery.
Oh, but it's better than having the random person at the hospital do it.
Well, we don't know because we're not there.
Well, because you wait a week and you find out that he's peeing right, and
Yeah.
and it's at your house, so it's a little more humane than dragging him to some other room with people he doesn't know.
I had to go to Lehrman's office. What are you talking about?
Oh, we had a bris, so he came to our house.
That's weird. The Jews and the bris. I never understood the celebration.
I don't get it
Mazel.
either.
Let's all drink. We cut off a tip of his dick.
It's weird. It's not even drink. You get like bagels.
Really?
It's a morning thing.
So, yeah, I would think culturally you'd be just so down with this because it's your culture.
You know, and my shiksa wife wanted it.
Yeah, she's smart. She
She's-
watches a lot of porn.
She does.
She doesn't like that. Joel Stein. The book is called Man-Made, and you've made the rounds selling this book. Oh,
I
you
did.
hung out with Adam Carolla, my dear friend.
Yes.
He's very manly.
He
Car fixing man.
he-
He boxed. Mangria. He created a cocktail for men.
That's not that manly, but yes, he taught me. He taught me about cars before I had a Lamborghini for a couple of days, and I worked in a pit crew of a race, and he gave me advice.
This sounds like an article that's in Vanity Fair, but you turned it into an entire novel. This is great.
Yeah, well,
I really look forward to reading this, bro.
really.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
I wouldn't bullshit you.
you can bullshit me.
Angie will tell you, we've had people on where I'm like, so if you want to do this, you can go do that.
Who is that?
I'm not going to say on the air because
All
I
right.
don't want to air out my guests.
That's nice of you.
When you interview somebody and they say off the record, why don't, if it's going to get you a Pulitzer, why not just say who told you the thing?
No one's ever told me anything that would ever get me a Pulitzer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no one tells me that kind of
But
stuff.
like in politics, they go, all right, listen, the president, this is off the record, okay? He's going to pass a bill. Like, I understand, like
I don't do that kind of reporting, but
I know
think-
you need to protect your source, but like if there's just that one time, is your name mud in that town forever?
No. People tell you things off the record almost always because they have an agenda with that information. So you use that information. They don't want it attributed to them. People don't say off. People almost never say off the record. I'll tell you. Sometimes they say off the record. I'll tell you this because you don't understand something and you're going to get it wrong, and so I'm going to correct you. But I don't want this information out there of how you can't say how you know this.
Okay.
That, which is fine. Other times people say off the record because I don't want anyone knowing I told you this, but take this information, get it from someone else, or go prove it yourself and use it. But it's
Because it pushes what they want pushed.
yeah, or defends themselves or attacks
Right.
their enemy, or but rarely is it like I've got secret information, but don't use it. Like that doesn't. No, why would someone do that?
Or use it, but just don't use my name.
Yeah, that's what off the record usually is for.
I would totally use the person's name and quit journalism. Be like, nah, just send like a WikiLeak of every journalist,
That should be my last article. Just my very last article.
It's just a list of names.
Yeah.
Thanks for all your off-the-record comments. All right, so this is on the record.
Okay, good.
Joel Stein, thank you for coming to Fake Mustache Studios.
this was
We're gonna
amazing.
A photo of you with a mustache on your face.
I can't wait.
I'll give you a Warriors T-shirt because you're
Seriously?
now a Warrior.
What can I do with that?
You would wear it as clothing, like as we do in Western.
No, I mean the
civilization?
title. What can I do with the title?
Nothing. You meet other Warriors at bars and say, "I